Here's Dolores reading about the promise that's made must be kept by Abraham Lincoln. Okay. And here's Joey looking at a portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Here's Cristina in front of a banner. This was like an election banner for Abraham Lincoln. Wide awake is the slogan. Here we are at Lincoln's home in Springfield, Illinois. We're about to take a tour of the place. I think this is pretty cool.
Everybody else will show up before we get inside. Anybody like to find out where everybody else is calling home? How about y'all?
San Angelo, Texas.
Okay, no San Angelo. Which major cities is close to?
Midland, Odessa, okay. Abilene.
Okay. I was stationed down in Fort Hood for quite a while, and also Fort Bliss for a while. Yeah. Married a Houston woman, so I won't hold it against you. Okay. Well, guys, like I said, first and foremost, welcome to Lincoln Home National Historic Site, the only national park in the state of Illinois. Because right over there across the street, that's the only home Abraham Lincoln ever lived in. I mean, lived in. Only home he ever owned. I'm sorry. My words coming out faster than my brain can make them. Only home he ever owned. Now, it's a huge part of his story, but it's part of the story a lot of folks, well, they don't remember quite as well. You know, a lot of folks know about him starting off in the little dirt floor, one-room log cabin down in the backwoods of Kentucky. And then it's like he pulled himself up by his bootstraps straight to the White House. Well, there's a little bit in between there, guys. Here, he's not the great emancipator yet. He's a husband, loves his wife. Here, he's not Father Abraham. He is a dad, working hard to make sure his kids' life were better than his was growing up. The thing that always separated Mr. Lincoln, whether it was the log cabin, whether it was here, whether it was the White House, is the fact that this man has dreams. And he's willing to work hard to chase those dreams to make them happen for him and his family, and eventually his country. Now that house is about 75% original from the day he left. There are currently a little over 50 original pieces inside the house.
Wow.
Don't feel bad, but I still do. Mrs. Lincoln's boys, oh man, they break about anything they got their little hands on. Mom's got some of her nicest furniture. Every black chair and couch in these two rooms. For President. As I'm sure y'all know, he said absolutely positive. He reads every newspaper he gets his hands on. He knows this country's history. He knows what he may have to go through. It's possible he could have said no. Maybe he thought it was a little too intimidating. Dinner at is a table of chairs. And then make your way on into the sitting room from there. You'll see me. I'm going to take a shortcut.
This is the same staircase that Abraham Lincoln used, same handrail. So we're sort of touching hands with Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln, it's only about 6'3", the mattress. So he probably didn't use it much, but Robert probably used it a bit when he came home from school. Little sewing area at the top, and after you check out the guest room and the sewing room, follow me on in here to Mr. Lincoln's room. Now, as you guys come in, just make sure you stay on the blue carpet, but we're going to slide on in so we make sure we make plenty of room for everybody. Now, guys, as we make our way in here to Mr. Lincoln's room, You got to know this is a very special room to Abraham Lincoln. This is the very first time in the man's life he'd have his own room. Took him 43 years to get it. Now, it's not that him and Mrs. Lincoln are fighting or they're having problems. Actually, this is a sign of how well they are doing. Because this suite of bedrooms, or his and hers, is a big status symbol back then. And it's got its benefits. You know, half the year, Mr. Lincoln's out on the circuit. Mrs. Lincoln's basically a single mom for half the year, 3 boys. 2 of them live in that room with him. That is his desk. It was purchased around 1847-48, so that desk probably saw the House Divided speech, the Lincoln-Douglas debates, the Cooper Union address, the first presidential inaugural. You're pretty much looking at the foundation of this country's 16th president right there. Actually, I'm surprised how much I get that.
Maybe to this room.
I know.
This is Mary Todd Lincoln's house room.
As you guys read.
No.
No, that's what he was saying.
Yes. Simone.
Is that the kids' room?
Honestly, because absolutely none of us would have ever seen this back hallway. Don't feel bad. It's because we're not part of the Lincoln family. That's all we got back here was mom, dad, the boys, the hired girl at the end of the hall. Doesn't mean it was quiet. Trust me, Lincoln boys got accused. Get down to the best room in the house. Actually, Willie and Tad, they never even do anything. First one.
Oh, you want a stove like this, Cristina?
No.
Oh,
Play.
oh, for play. Here we're looking at the kitchen in the Lincoln house. This is my great
Like I say,
production.
guys, this really is the best room in the house, but it doesn't have much to do with that bacon over there, because that stuff tastes horrible, like it's made out of plastic or something. Guys, you're basically standing in his birthhouse. Yep. This kitchen is almost the same exact size as the log cabin he was born in. Guys, there's no reason he should have been who he was, except one thing. He had a chance. He was willing to work hard to make those chances, dreams come true for him and his family. This house shows you that he did that. But in 1861, Mr. Lincoln left this house to chase another dream. One this country had 35 years before he was born. It said that all men were created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
So, but I don't think he'll ever sell. He'll just sit on it. So, Dad likes me to get out my model and look at slavery. If that takes hold, and I'm not just speaking of domestic slavery, I think it's very important that we raise up the tariff so we're not competing with Russian serfs or Mexican peons or Chinese coolies. They make more, they make less than a slave makes. I was in Washington, Miss Sprigg, who run a boarding house there, hired slaves to work for her, and they made more than the average person out in the rest of the world who's on the low end of the rung. Why should we Americans have to compete with slave labor on an international basis?
His house down. I
Right.
have to get down to where I'm standing before I get to the ground surface.
Cool. So they've got an actual dig going on right now here in Lincoln's old neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now what is neat is just across the street from this national park, people actually live and work. Now as you see, they have wood planks for a sidewalk, but they also have steps to get up on the carriages. The whole neighborhood is full of houses, just regular houses for the day, and a couple of wagons are out in the street looking like they're ready for the horses. Joey found this wagon kind of intriguing. I did too. It's pretty neat, huh? Okay, here we are at the very same Krispy Kreme where my son, Jimmy, came with me several years ago, ate a whole box of donuts before I could even sit down. Here you go, and go ahead and open the box and start eating. I mean, in our family, this store has become part of a legend. Dolores, look at the camera. Thank you. Okay, I have something very weird to report here at the cemetery. Now, this is St. Mary's Cemetery in Bloomington, where my great-great-grandparents are buried, along with my great-grandfather, James W. Riley. But the tombstone seems to have been moved from the lot where it was. If you can see where there's a road, it was on the other side of that road before, along with about 6 or 7 of my other relatives who had little headstones. There was Frank, and there were some other ones. There was another James, I believe, James Owens, who died early. But this was where they were, in this cemetery, across the street and another lot. And yet somehow the headstones, these 2 headstones seem to be moved, but there's like 5 or 6 other ones that just aren't there. I don't understand that at all. Anyway, James Owens and Mary Owens would have been my great-great-grandparents. They were the mother and father of my great-grandmother. We'll go to the other side now of the headstone. This is the other side of the headstone. Here you can see James E. Owens Jr. and Patrick Owens and James Riley. That was James W. Riley from 1869 to 1908. And his wife, my great-grandmother, Mary A. Riley, and that's Mary Anna Riley, 1872 to 1902, and then Anna Owens as well. But the little headstones are missing, and like I said, this doesn't seem like the original resting place for my great-great or my great-grandparents. And this is the church, unfortunately closed, that we visited, where my great-grandmother and great-grandfather were married at. Here we are, trying out Panera, the chain store with the fresh bread and everything. Thought we'd try it out. So far, drinking the soda, it's okay. How is it, Dolores?
It's average. Sorry, no.
How is it, Cristina?
Good. No, let me start over.
How is it, Joey? Joey, how is it?
Wait, let me